Seri, Kamik Iitom, is an indigenous language spoken by between 716 and 900 Seri people in Punta Chueca and El Desemboque, two villages on the coast of Sonora, Mexico. The language is generally considered an isolate, however, there have been attempts to include it in the theoretical Hokan language family. There is no concrete evidence for connections to other languages at this time. The earliest records of the Seri language are from 1692, but the population has remained fairly isolated. Extensive work on Seri began in 1951 by Edward and Mary Beck Moser with the Summer Institute of Linguistics. The language is viable within its community and is used freely in daily life. Exceptions include primary and secondary school, some parts of local church services, and communications with Spanish speakers outside of the Seri community. Most members of the community, including youth, are fluent in their language. However, the population of speakers is small and cultural knowledge is dwindling as the traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle becomes increasingly obsolete. For these reasons, Seri is listed as a vulnerable language by UNESCO. Classification. The term Serian family may be used to refer to a language family with Seri as its only living member. Related languages have disappeared in the last couple of centuries. Attempts have been made to link it to the human family, to the now extinct Salinan language of California, and to the much larger hypothetical Hokan family. These hypotheses came out of a period when attempts were being made to group all of the languages of the Americas into families. In the case of Seri, however, very little evidence has ever been produced. Until such evidence is presented and evaluated, the language is most appropriately considered an isolate. Name. The name Seri is an exonym for this people that has been used since the first contacts with the Spaniards, sometimes written differently, as Seris. Gilg reported in 1692 that it was a Spanish name, but surely, it was the name used by another group of the area to refer to the Seris. Nevertheless, modern claims that it is a Yaqui term that means something like, people of the sand, or an Opata term that means, people who run fast, are lacking in factual basis. No evidence has been presented for the former and no credible evidence has been presented for the latter. The name used within the Seri community itself, for the language, is Kamik Iitom, which contrasts with Coxer Iitom, Spanish language, and Marikana Iitom, English language. The expression is a noun phrase that is literally, that with which a Seri person speaks. The word Kamik, phonetically kwk, is the singular noun for Seri person. The word Iitom is the oblique nominalization of the intransitive verb kaitum, talk, with the prefix I third-person possessor, and the null prefix for the nominalizer with this class of root. Another similar expression that one hears occasionally for the language is Kamik Iimx, which is a similar construction based on the transitive verb quimx. Tell. Root equals amx. The name chosen by the Seri committee for the name of the language used in the title of the recent dictionary was Kamkak Ki Yaza, the plural version of Kamik Iitom. It was appropriate for a project of that type although it is not a commonly used term. Kamkak, phonetically ko-kk, is the plural form of Kamik and Yaza is the plural nominalized form corresponding to Iitom. Uza is the plural root, y, with an accompanying vowel ablaut, is the nominalizer. The prefix for third-person possessor elides before the y. The word ki is a singular article, which combines with the plural noun to refer to the Seri community. The language was erroneously referred to as Kunkak as early as the beginning of the 20th century, as in Hernandez 1904, and this mistake has been repeated up to the present day by people who confuse the name of an ethnic group with the name of its language, which are often the same in Spanish and English. The lexeme Kamkak is used in the Seri language only to refer to the people. Phonology. Vowels. Vowel length is contrastive only in stressed syllables. The low front vowels are phonetically between open mid and near open and have also been transcribed as a, ash. The non-rounded vowels I, may be realized as diphthongs u, o, when followed by the labialized consonants k, x, chi, but this small phonetic detail is not written in the community-based writing system. Consonants occurs only in loanwords. L occurs in loanwords and in a few native words, where it may alternate with t, depending on the word and the individual speaker. Other consonants may occur in recent loans, such as t in hamigo, friend, from Spanish amigo, and beta in huva, grape, from Spanish uva. The labial fricative t may be labiodental f for some speakers, and the postalveolar fricative t may be retroflex. T and n are prototypically dental. In unstressed syllables, per meter assimilates to the place of articulation of the following consonant. This assimilation may take place over word boundaries in connected speech. When per meter is preceded by k or k, it becomes a nasalized approximant w, and the following vowel becomes nasalized, e.g. kamik, kmik. Person, Seri, is pronounced kwk or kwki. For some speakers, word final per meter may become at the end of a phrase or sentence, or when said in isolation. It can be documented, by careful examination of word lists collected in the 19th century, that some of these phonetic rules have arisen fairly recently. Syllable structure. Syllable structure in Seri is fairly complex. Simple syllable onsets are most common, however, syllables without onsets can occur at the beginning of a word. The language generally allows up to 3 consonants to occur together at the beginning of a syllable, although consonants cannot be repeated, i.e. tt or pp. It is like English in this respect, which allows 3 consonant combinations like spray and acts. Unlike English, however, the specific combinations that may occur are much less restricted. For example, English allows SPR but disallows *PTK, which Seri allows, as in PTCAMN. Cortez spiny lobster. Panulirus inflatus. Rarely, clusters of 4 consonants can occur, KS-KT, in Kazakhstan. There were many. MXK Kai, in Ipum CX. If S, he brings it. With enclitic x. The nuclei of Seri syllables can include 1, 2, or 3 vowels. Long vowels are indicated by repetition, i.e. a or e. Vowel clusters may include 3 separate letters, as in the one-syllable word kaoi nam di Laos. Syllables with complex nuclei must be stressed, otherwise, the stress generally occurs on the first syllable of a word's root. Because of this, vowel clusters often occur in the initial syllable of a root. Simple coda do exist, however, complex coda are more common. Word medial coda may not include more than 1 consonant, while word final coda may include up to 3. Affixes, which may consist of 1 or more consonants with no vowels, can be added before or after existing consonant clusters, thereby complicating pronunciation and syllabification. When necessary, empty vowel positions are inserted and often filled with a syllabic nasal or an I to aid in pronunciation. Stress. Stress is contrastive in Seri. Although it usually falls on the first syllable of a root, there are many words where it does not, mostly nouns, as well as a small class of common verbs whose stress may fall on a prefix rather than on the root. An alternative analysis, recently proposed and with fewer exceptions, assigns stress to the penultimate syllable of the root of a word, since suffixes are never stressed and prefixes receive stress only as a result of phonological fusion with the root. This rule is also sensitive to syllable weight. A heavy final syllable in the root attracts stress. A heavy syllable is one that has a long vowel or vowel cluster or a final consonant cluster. A single consonant in the syllable coda is typically counted as extrametrical in Seri. Consonants following a stressed syllable are lengthened, and vowels separated from a preceding stressed vowel by a single consonant are also lengthened so that kutaj, ko tx, ant, is pronounced ko tx. Such allophonically lengthened vowels may be longer than the phonemically long vowels found in stressed syllables. The lengthening does not occur if the following consonant or vowel is part of a suffix kutaj, the plural of ku. Shovelnose guitarfish is ko-tx, without lengthening, if the stressed syllable consists of a long vowel and a short vowel k-hoj, a kind of manta ray, is k-ixix, without lengthening, or if the stressed vowel is lengthened to indicate intensity. It also does not affect most loanwords. Morphology. Verbs, nouns, and postpositions are inflected word categories in Seri. Nouns. Nouns inflect for plurality through suffixation. Compare nusi, morning dove, and nusi lc, morning doves. Pluralization is very complicated. For this reason, each noun is listed in the dictionary with its plural form. Some nouns ostensibly use an infix to indicate plural, caatc, grasshopper, caatjc, grasshoppers. A few nouns have completely suppletive plural forms, kamik, Seri person, komkak, Seri people, ziix, thing, zika, things. Kinship terms and body part nouns inflect for possessors through prefixes with slightly different prefix sets. Compare ma sak, your son, of man, and me lit, your head. As they are obligatorily possessed nouns, a special prefix appears when no possessor is specified, and kinship terms sometimes have additional material at the end as well. Compare ha saket, one, s son, and ha lit, one, s head. Some nouns have an additional plural form to distinguish between singular and plural possessors, itoj, his per eye, itoj, his per eyes, itolkaj, their eyes. Verbs. Finite verbs obligatorily inflect for number of the subject, person of the subject, direct object and indirect object and tense, mood. For subject, person and number, compare ipiopans. I ran. Inyopans. Usg, ran. Yopans. It ran, she ran, he ran. Heopankok. We ran. Mayopankok. You place, ran. Yopankok. They ran. For object person, which is written as a separate word in the orthography although it is really just a prefix, compare ma hiooho. I saw you, sg. Mazi hiooho. I saw you place. And I hiooho. I saw him, her, it them. For indirect object, also written as a separate word except in third person, compare me hiasohat. I showed it to you, sg, or place. Kohiekahat. I showed it to him, hurt them. The verb tenses divide between medial forms and final forms, arealis and realis, papans, arealis, medial, third person. If, it, she, he runs. Tpanzx, realis, medial, third person. As, it, she, he ran. Yopans, distal realis, final third person. It, she, he ran. Impans, proximal realis, final third person. It, she, he ran. Spanx aha, arealis, final third person. It, she, he will run. A verb may also be negative and or passive. A transitive verb may be detransitivized through a morphological operation, and causative verbs may be formed morphologically. Postpositions. The postpositions of Seri inflect for the person of their complement, hitai on me, midi on you, iti on her, him, it. Some of them have suppletive stems to indicate a plural complement, compare mihix with you, sg, and miakat with you, place. Grammar. The Seri language is a head-final language. The verb typically occurs at the end of a clause, after the subject and direct object, in that order, and main clauses typically follow dependent clauses. The possessor precedes the possessum. The language does not have many true adjectives. Adjective-like verbs follow the head noun in the same kind of construction and with the same kind of morphology as verbs in the language. The words that correspond to prepositions in languages like English are usually constrained to appear before the verb. In noun phrases they appear following their complement. Articles. Seri has several articles, which follow the noun. The singular indefinite article a and is zo before consonants, and z before vowels. It presumably is historically related to the word for one, which is tazo. The plural indefinite article, roughly equivalent to some, is pak. There are several different definite articles that, depending on the position and movement of the object, quij singular, and koksulka, plural, are used with seated objects. Kap kop, sg, and koyolka place are used with standing objects. Kap and kop are dialectal variants. Kam sg, and koitoj place are used with objects lying down. Hipmoka sg, and hismokat place are used with close, approaching objects. Hipintika sg, and hipintakat place are used with close objects going away. Timoka sg, and tamakat place is used with distant, approaching objects. Tintika sg, tantakat place, himentika sg, and himentakat place are used with distant objects going away. Hak sg, and place are used with locations and verbal nouns. Hak is pronounced k after vowels and k after consonants. Ki sg, and coi place are unspecified. Ki is pronounced ki before consonants, k before vowels, and k at the end of an utterance. These articles are derived historically from nominalized forms, as appear in relative clauses in Seri of verbs: quiij, that which sits; caap, that which stands; kum, that which lies; kia, that especially soft item like cloth, which is located; mocha, that which comes; kantaka, that which goes; and caahca, that which is located. Root ahca. Demonstratives. 4 simple demonstrative pronouns occur, plus a large set of compound demonstrative adjectives and pronouns. The simple demonstratives are tiix. That one talks. Those, that mass. Hippie. This one. And hazaks. These, this mass. The compound demonstratives are formed by added a deictic element to an article. Examples include himkop. That standing far off. Tikop. That standing closer. Hipkop. This standing. Himquij. That sitting far off. Himkom. That lying far off. Etc. These compound demonstratives may be used either as adjectives at the end of the noun phrase, or as pronouns. Personal pronouns. 2 personal non-reflexive pronouns are in common use: he first person, I, we, and me second person, you, singular or plural. These pronouns may have singular or plural reference. The difference in number is indicated in the verb stem. The reflexive pronouns are hisaj, myself, message, yourself, isoj, herself, himself, itself, hisolka, ourselves, masolka, yourselves, and isolka, themselves. Lexicon. The Seri language has a rich basic lexicon. The usefulness of the lexicon is multiplied many times over by the use of idiomatic expressions. The expression for I am angry is hiasax chint iha, literally, my spirit stinks, declarative. For example, the kinship terminology is among the most extensive and complicated that has been documented in the world. Seri has a small number of loanwords, most ultimately from Spanish, but also from other languages such as Oadam. Many ideas are expressed not with single words, but with fixed expressions consisting of several words. For example, newspaper is hapaspaj cmatsj, literally, paper that tells lies. Compass is ziix hant iiciihca kia, literally, thing that knows where places are. And radio is ziix ha tiij kus, literally, thing that sitting there sings. This kind of phrase formation is deeply ingrained in the lexicon. It has been used in the past to create new terms for lexical items that became taboo due to the death of a person whose nickname was based on that word. Writing system. Seri is written in the Latin script. Q represents k before the vowels e and I, while c is used elsewhere, as in Spanish. Long vowels are indicated by doubling the vowel letter. The voiced lateral, L, is indicated by placing an underline under L, i.e. stress is generally not indicated, but can be marked by placing an acute accent over the stressed vowel. The representation of the rounded back consonants using a digraph which includes O diaresis serves to visually unite morphemes that have allomorphs containing the full vowel O, the historical source of the rounded consonants. Example, Zekoj, Kai Cox. Wolf. Zekol, Kai K. Wolves. The letters B, D, G, Gu, and V occur in some loanwords. The Seri alphabet was developed in the 1950s by Edward W. and Mary B. Moser, and later revised by a committee of Seri men and women working with Stephen Marlett. In particular, the rounded velar stop K was written both Cu and Co diaresis, but is now only written Co diaresis. The diphthongs AU, U, EO were written AU, U, EO respectively, but are now considered to be allophones of AIE, before rounded consonants, e.g. Taioich to Hejok. The velar nasal th was written ing, but is now considered an allophone of per meter, and written m, e.g. Comcac Comcac. Nasalized vowels were marked with an underline, but are now considered allophones occurring after per kilometer, e.g. cua acute mcmaam. Lengthening of vowels and consonants that follow a stressed syllable were written double, but are now considered allophonic, e.g. hoopoth hoopit. Long vowels and consonants in other situations are still written double. Word boundaries sometimes changed, with clitics being often originally written solid with the adjacent words, but now written separately. Literature. A growing body of Seri literature is being published. Some of the stories that were recorded, transcribed and published earlier are now being re-edited and published. New material is also being prepared by several writers. Essays by 3 Seri writers appear in the new anthology of Native American literature published by the University of Nebraska Press. Trivia. The Seri word for shark, which is hakat, was chosen by ichthyologist Juan Carlos Pérez Jiménez to name a newly discovered species of smooth hound shark in the Gulf of California, Mustelus hakat. Notes. References. External links. Seri bibliography. Seri page at lengamer.org. Stephen Marlett's home page. SIL Mexico. Seri texts and recordings. Seri Basic Lexicon at the Global Lexicostatistical Database.